A question for the legislators who are working on this. Have you faced any opposition so far?
We were waiting for word from the Department of Corrections because a common question was, what does this mean for prison labor? And we had several answers for that first, which it's not the same. Slavery is not the same as being sentenced to prison and having to work. It's not buying or selling of a human being, and at the end of the day, you really cannot force someone to do something.
Now, a history of forced labor after the Civil War. A new documentary that airs tonight on PBS tells the story of how American citizens, freed by the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, remained under lock and key for decades afterward. Slavery by Another Name, based on the Pulitzer Prize-winning book of the same name, tells the story of the thousands of African Americans who were arrested on trumped-up charges and forced to work as convict labor. In many cases, they were sent to the South's coal mines, including some owned by businessman and former slave owner John Milner. Historians and actors describe it in this excerpt.
After emancipation, industrialists replaced slaves with convicts, acquiring thousands from state and county governments.
You can't drive free labor the same way that you can force prisoners to mine 5 tons of coal a day. And this is why people like Milner wanted prisoners in his coal mines. He saw them as a great source of profit, and he didn't have to worry about labor disputes.
The detention center that I'm going to sell today really is state-of-the-art. It's as good as it can possibly get. You have the people coming into that pipeline, so you have an endless supply of product. No matter what your business is, what you're looking for, we will have a steady supply of people in America to fill this facility. $5 million, $1.5 million, I have $5 million. You want to $5 million? $5 million, $1.5 million. Yes, thank you. Got me in 100 now.
Some major differences between the jobs people do in prison and the ones they do on the outside, particularly when it comes to money. The average wage in prison is around 63 cents per hour. And remember, that's the average. So that means there are states where prisoners make considerably less.
In Texas, Georgia, Arkansas, and Alabama, prisoners are not paid for their work at all. And in some places, they're required to work under threat of disciplinary action. If they say, no, I'm not going to work, they can write you up for that. They can send you to solitary for that.
That's slavery. To work for free,
Yeah.
and then they can put you in solitary if you don't work, or write you up for not working.
Yeah.
For free. Why is that not slavery?
Yeah, that's not good, because why is that not slavery is one of those questions that even if you have to ask it, something has already gone very wrong. Like, how many swastika tattoos? Or which of Mommy's nightstand drawers did you open? Things are already bad. We just need to figure out how bad. And the answer to why is this not slavery is, well, it's not exactly not slavery, because it turns out treating prisoners as slaves is literally written into the Constitution. The 13th Amendment states that slavery is abolished, except as a punishment for a crime. And the amendment abolishing slavery is really not the one that you want to suddenly include the word except.
make two honest confessions to you, my Christian and Jewish brothers. First, I must confess that over the past few years I have been gravely disappointed with the white moderate. I have almost reached the regrettable conclusion that the Negro's great stumbling block in his stride toward freedom is not the white citizens' counselor or the Ku Klux Klaner, but the white moderate, who is more devoted to order than to justice, who prefers a negative peace, which is the absence of tension, to a positive peace, which is the presence of justice, who constantly says, I agree with you in the goal you seek, but I cannot agree with your methods of direct action, who paternalistically believes he can set the timetable for another man's freedom, who lives by a mythical concept of time, and who constantly advises the Negro to wait for a more convenient season. Shallow understanding from people of goodwill is more frustrating than absolute misunderstanding from people of ill will. Lukewarm acceptance is much more bewildering than outright rejection. I had hoped that the white moderate would understand that law and order exist for the purpose of establishing justice, and that when they fail in this purpose, they become the dangerously structured dams that block the flow to social progress. I had hoped that white moderates would understand that the present tension in the South is a necessary phase of the transition from an obnoxious negative peace in which the Negro passively accepted his unjust plight to a substantive and positive peace in which all men will respect the dignity and worth of human personality. Actually, we who engage in nonviolent direct action are not the creators of tension. We merely bring to the surface the hidden tension that is already alive. We bring it out in the open where it can be seen and dealt with, like a boil that can never be cured so long as it is covered up, but must be open with all its ugliness to the natural medicines of air and light. Injustice must be exposed with all the tension its exposure creates to the light of human conscience and the air of national opinion before it can be cured. In your statement, you assert that our actions, even though peaceful, must be condemned because they precipitate violence. But is this a logical assertion? Isn't this like condemning a robbed man because his possession of money precipitated the evil act of robbery? Isn't this like condemning Socrates because his unswerving commitment to truth and his philosophical inquiries precipitated the act by the misguided populace in which they made him drink hemlock? Isn't this like condemning Jesus because his unique God consciousness and never ceasing devotion to God's will precipitated the evil act of crucifixion? We must come to see that, as the federal courts have consistently affirmed, it is wrong to urge an individual to cease his efforts to gain his basic constitutional rights because the quest may precipitate violence. Society must protect the robbed and punish the robber.
What is going on, everybody? What is going on? Hope you are doing good in this neighborhood here. I am 1frog9. We are live right now here, Saturday at 11 a.m. We're also live on Thursdays at 11 a.m. But today is the 6th day of November, 2021. We're coming to you live from the Appalachian Mountains, which is also East Cherokee and Yuchi territory. And we just got through with our little pre-show there. That was from Abolition Today. I guess they had some clips from a group called Punks for Progress. I like what they say there at the end. If all are equal, none are qualified to rule. I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, so yeah, welcome to the show. We got an announcement today coming from Pirate Queen Indigo Cat. She'll be here very soon. But real quick, I'm just gonna plug the things that we are here for. Let's see if our commands work today. If not, I will find them somewhere else. But as always, we're starting with this right here. Go ahead and text "in the exception" to 52886. That's all one word. Text "in the exception," all one word, to 52886. There's also a sponsorship drive going on from JLS, Jailhouse Lawyers Speak. They are calling for support to help with the holidays, help with families of incarcerated people. So if you are interested in helping with them, helping support a child, support some families through the holidays here, like I said, of an incarcerated person, you can reach out to you can email outthemud.jls@protonmail.com. Hit them up there, and they will connect you directly with a family of somebody who's currently in prison, and they'll let you know what they need or what they're looking to get. And again, you can that's how you can do that. You can jump in there and help them out. I'm also trying to pull up this command here for these other organizations, abolitionist organizations. Number one of them, like I mentioned, is JLS, Jailhouse Lawyers Speak. Incarcerated human rights activists. You can find them at iamweubuntu.com. iamwe. Some other organizations include Amend the 13th, Abolish Slavery, National Network, and Abolition Today, who they put out some videos. The first couple of videos we just saw today at the pre-show. That is kind of how that works. So, but yeah, check these out. Jump in the ocean, the abolitionist ocean here, so that we can all put an end to slavery. As you see, they have exceptions to slavery in the prison system. That's not good. That's not good because it doesn't actually rehabilitate people. It just puts them into a labor system. I mean, part of what they were talking about there, I think that was in Minnesota. They're working on removing their exception. But the gentleman there was saying that they are not buying and selling people, that prisoners aren't forced to work, stuff like that. And that's a straight lie, because ever since the Civil War, after the Civil War, this thing called convict leasing it's just been ramped up to its like most extreme, meaning that prisoners who are in the system, they can be batched together in a contract and a deal and leased out as labor, for cheap labor, to other companies that decide to enter these contracts. So they can be, hard work, manual labor in the fields. It can be sitting at a desk, working at a phone bank. So there's a whole spectrum of jobs that are done by prisoners on the inside, and they do it for less than we do on the outside, and that's not good. And they can be forced to work. In some states like California, it is illegal to not work. It is illegal to organize strikes. So it just adds more time to them if they do refuse. So the idea that they can't be forced to work is also a lie. And you heard in there, that one of the last videos, there was an auction going on. They had a little clip from an auction where the auctioneer was just talking about how they will have a steady supply of labor within that pipeline. And I don't know. I think that's pretty messed up. They're basically promising, like, you will not have any concerns about labor if you invest in this prison. It's just not the way to go. And that last clip was MLK, audio clip of Martin Luther King talking about the white moderate and his belief that that is a greater threat than the outright racists and Ku Klux Klanners and all that. At least those people, their intentions and the efforts that they're going to put forth to, oppress those that don't agree with them or don't look like them. And, MLK is just pointing out, even beyond the danger of those people, it's the people who stand next to you who even say that they agree with why you're doing what you're doing, but they don't agree with the methods because it makes them uncomfortable. So I don't know. I think it's pretty clear cut kind of stuff there. And let's see, Pirate Queen. I'll go ahead and turn you right there. And what we should have done is a test, but let's go ahead and take a look over here. Double cam flying over here. What is going on, Pirate Queen? How are you?
We're living in the world of do it, pull it down, wing it. I'm doing okay.
Had that frog pond music going on. It was already on from the intro, so I turned that off.
Oh, yeah. So it's not on the whole show. Maybe.
Apparently people like it. It's nice and groovy.
Well, if it was low.
So
you could actually hear.
However, it was not low. But we're here today. It's Saturday. How was your week? How have you been doing this past week?
I've been brainstorming on my first NFT. So what it's going to be, how to do it, who's going to be on our team, well, yada yada, blah blah blah, rada rada rada.
Yeah, no, it's basically, we've been looking at the blockchain crypto NFT space for the past couple months, weeks and months, just trying to wrap our head around how we can operate in the space.
Use it for our freedom, our benefit. It's obviously a new cycle of opportunity for a lot of people. And a lot of people are jumping in with the old mine. They already have the money, so they think they can just acquire all the assets. But there's something different about this. So we're in it to win it.
Cool. Yeah, no, I think you were talking about starting with like an erotica series.
Well, of my whole career as an artist, and I count that back when I was in graduate school, or even when I first started to draw, I was drawn to the erotic, and I noticed at least the people I was around were kind of skittish. When I was in New York City, Deep Throat and Linda Lovelace and all that stuff was coming out, and so there was more mainstream talk about erotica. And that was what I wanted to do. And so I have a collection of things I've drawn, things I've collected from other artists, articles I've written, articles I've saved, and never had the right place, to have this erotic gallery or whatever. Always had landlords like, no, you can't promote that here. When I did my first open house, Studio Stroll 2012. So I have that poster where I was ferocious. I was new in town, not new in town, but new in my studio in the River Arts District. And what we were trying to do there was Jeremy Russell and a bunch of other artists, and we had parties there and just tried to push the edge. I was trying to probably recreate what I had experienced in New York City, the underground scene, CBGB, the Hells Angels, Blondie, all of these people coming up, and we being a part of the stew that made them. So I feel like I haven't done that yet. I haven't shown my erotica, shared it, either things I've drawn. So I'm putting that together, and I don't know if there's anybody out there that wants to help, but I think I'm just going to tell the story of my erotic journey. You always have to have some kind of story, and figure out how that first NFT will be the open door, the key to unlock all these different other parts of my erotic story, my paintings, my drawings. I guess just to tell my story. You know, I'm not a famous artist, so I need to blast who I am out into cyberspace, into the blockchain space, to build a bridge from my 3D world and my immersive world as an artist, fine artist, Appalachian artist, you know, all those different terms, into being an NFT artist, an artist that's collectible, because I do have years of people buying and seeing my art, doing what a artist normally does, to have 1 or 2 exhibitions a year to keep their CV current. And so this COVID break has allowed me to look at the property we have. We have 7 acres, and how we can make it an installation and bring money into our pockets and not a landlord's pocket. Work with our idea of being farmers, but also I don't see anybody dealing with erotica or the body or the woman's body or the sacredness of the body the way I feel about it. So I think that's the direction I'm going to go. Just trying to, what should be first? You know, what should be first? So that means I have to do a lot of inventory, you know, pulling everything out, looking through drawings, categorizing them. So I'm going through that. So I want to make sure my first drop is just shoot you off the world. Like Lady Rocket, a personality that I've met on Twitter. And no, I met her on Clubhouse, actually. And Lady Rocket Eve Blasdale, and she's doing things like going to Gucci and asking them to integrate hemp into their clothing. And I'm like, okay. She's doing what she's doing at her level. And someday I'll be able to invite her to Asheville, maybe down to Black Wall Street, because ultimately she wants to work with people that don't know that there's access to NASA. She's with NASA, and I really appreciate how she models herself in the world. So that's kind of a quickie.
Yeah, so you're looking at the erotica, and then actually we had a sale, a potential sale kind of lined up for one of your dresses that you made, a Nina Simone dress. So originally you were thinking about trying to make that into a digital wearable, something like that, and also try to sell the dress as an NFT as well. So we're still working on
and
how that's going to work.
That's a real thing in April. So it's nice to have some real thing, some target for a drop.
Because that's the thing coming up in April. You're going to be part of a show in Boone, North Carolina.
Right. It's called The Jagged Path, the African Diaspora in Western North Carolina, Craft, Music, and Dance. And I'll have my outfit in there, and just trying to figure out how to do an NFT drop at the same time, so it benefits the Appalachian Artist Project as well as the Monty Refuge African Culture Center and Norse Refuge, which are my projects. So.
And so I guess that dress is going to be a part of the show.
Right.
And that's going to be the only piece?
Hat, and the purse.
Is that going to be the only piece that goes with the show?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, yeah.
Cool. So that'll give
3
us
pieces.
That's going to give us some time until April to kind of work out the logistics of how that dress is going to be.
To make it a 3D wearable. Anybody out there with the skills, please, let me know how much.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm trying to
do it too.
I'm looking at a couple different programming languages, trying to pick some of those up.
Yeah,
I do have experience a little bit with Blender, but not really enough to, I think, be dangerous enough on this with this dress. But we'll see. It's just a matter of just learning this stuff. But either way, with that coming out in April, that does give us some time.
Yeah.
To figure out how this is going to be put together, because we would like to enter the show and. I mean, you're already in the show, but once it at the announcement and the launch or the opening of it, we want to be able to announce launch and open up, that NFT side of of this, and I'm hoping that we can get out a couple pieces as well, because you were just talking earlier about you have like a flyer, just kind of like memorabilia from
Yeah.
your past.
In the River Arts District, we were just
Right.
making good trouble.
So just to kind of take that, and then it's just a basic flyer, just with your face on it. So maybe use one of those.
Well, and I have, with that photograph, I did a whole series of self-portraits, and
Right.
maybe releasing those. I don't know. I just have to feel my way. I see a lot younger artists are just, they're not hesitating. They're doing generative art where they do one scribble, and they're making money. So I just have to find my way, put my spin on it,
Yeah.
and be courageous, because it's the Wild West, right?
Pretty much. No, and I think, like I said, we got April, we'll do the dress, but I think before then we'll get out some other things as well, just
Yeah.
to be familiar with this process and to figure out what's the best approach to take.
Yeah, I mean, there's some people that like give NFTs away, and I've gone through the process of attempting to get some free NFTs.
Yeah, you were
and
supposed to get one last night. We got to check on that one. as
yeah,
well.
there was supposed to be a drop. Like I ran one in some lottery. There's usually anyway, I wanted to go through that process so I would know how to promote my NFT. Some people do low cost, and enable their friends to buy low cost, and then they can sell later and make money. Could have a 2-tier, a $50 level, a $200 level, or 3-tier, another level of NFT that different access or keys give you, either other pieces of art, or who knows, some actual fabric prints that were from the series. So everything that goes in the smart contract, we have to figure out. This is a new frontier where we're designing it. We're not the servant of this technology. The technology is the servant of our ideas. And that's the exciting part for me, being free of the gatekeepers and the museums and galleries, and the people who have the access to places, and they have the ability to say no. So that's, to me, that's the best part, is that is no longer standing in the way of my creativity. I get to but I have to look at everything all over, because everything I have has been stored away, kind of like at the end of a show, at the end of a cycle, at the end of at the end of moving out of my studio, at the beginning of COVID. So all of it has to be reevaluated as if I'm in this new metaverse I'm building. So what will that metaverse be about? And I see it, it's my life. It's Oshun, it's water, it's naked bodies, it's the redemption and the sacredness of the body of the mother, the woman, going to Mothers for the Earth, and being a mother that I just didn't find it very supportive beside my family to be a mother in this country, childcare, all of these other things that if you're an artist, it's almost like you have to do one or the other. So perhaps telling that story in a way that not only will be an inspiration, which is what I'm used to doing, supporting and inspiring people, but somehow I need the support by actually selling NFTs. That would support my future work, and putting my archives together, my writings, my plays. It's just that time in my life where I have the space, and I'm grateful to do this.
Yeah, and I'm grateful, that you're jumping in this space with me, trying to wrap your head around this stuff too, because it's, it's just a lot. It's definitely a lot, and I think it's just gonna be worth it. The time and energy we're putting into this, because it's the future. It's just gonna be, it's shaping the future. We're shaping our future.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the other things that we need to work on and figure out is just what blockchain we're going to be actually using. Ethereum's one of the bigger, badder blockchains right now, but the gas fees on that to mint and sell and all that is really usually it's a couple $100 per transaction, it seems. So I'm not really feeling like jumping into Ethereum until we have more liquidity, if you will. But there are gasless or low gas alternatives like Polygon or Solana, Cardano, a bunch of other blockchains that we need to kind of brush up on our research to figure out what we're actually going to be doing with what. So
we're learning, but we know we're going this direction. So if you want to learn with us, but have some basic skills, if somebody had some programming skills, that would give us a real leap ahead on how to actually write our own smart contracts.
Programmers, developers, web developers, full stack developers. Yeah, that'd be great. If we had a little more folks on the team right now, the team is just you and I, my dear.
You and me, baby.
You and I.
But we're a pretty strong team. I think
so.
We've proved ourselves through all of our Buto performances, and there's just so much I think we can bring to this space, putting together our performances, our immersive environments, clothing, costumes, art, writing, poetry, dance. To me, it's perfect. It's kind of like time has caught up with my consciousness, because I can put everything together. I don't have to continually compartmentalize things that fit in somebody's gallery dimension. So it's pretty exciting.
It is. It really is.
Avant-garde, once again.
What else? What else are we talking about today? Is that it? Is that all we're doing? I titled the show Special Announcement.
Well, that's just it.
We did the announcement.
I'm doing an NFT. I'm doing NFT series. I'm no longer putting my art in other people's galleries in Asheville, New York, Las Vegas, Louisiana, all these places people have suggested. I'm no longer doing fellowships at other people's universities. I've never been in the academic milieu, and they're pretty cliquish, I have to say. But I think the Appalachian artists really welcome me into their fold, and so in everything, I'm gonna say Appalachian. I'm an Appalachian artist.
That you are.
And that gives all of us a brand that people can identify and buy and know that they are helping Black artists.
Appalachian to the bone.
Bony bone.
Well, I wasn't going to play any games or anything today, but if that's our announcement, if that's all we got today, that's it.
Ta-da!
A quick half-hour little
blah bitty blah.
Pew!
On blibbity blue.
And we're testing these two mics here. Let us know how the mics sound in the comments and all that. And yeah, not really a big stream today. But if you guys want to hang out, you can find me on Discord. Find us on Twitter. I'm also on Peaked. It's a blockchain social media.
See, that's Lady Rocket. I don't know if you can see her. Can you see her?
What do you think? Kind of, not really.
Kind of, anyway.
Kind of not really.
Not good.
Not really on that
anyway
frequency of
and she's saying happy Diwali festival lights, sending all unconditional love, peace, and prosperity.
Cool.
So that's the festival being celebrated
today. Cool. So you just out there making friends, huh?
Well, the females seem to really support females. The whole Twitter like and share thing, I'm in that. I'm in it. I'm sharing, liking and sharing anybody that follows me. But I find women actually do more than just like and share. They will actually send you a message. No, actually, I've had a message from, what's his name?
I don't know. What is his name? Basquiat?
Basquiat. The new Basquiat. Yeah, the new Basquiat. Yep. And my Lady Rocket. So you find those people you have familiarity
Yeah.
with. And what I'm loving about Clubhouse as I get on it more often is you get a chance to do your elevator pitch, or your minute pitch. Go to the top of the room, raise your hand. They invite you into the room, and then you just introduce yourself, your name, what you're doing, what you're trying to do. And that's the way you find other people for your team. At least that's how we're progressing, because it doesn't seem like Facebook and Instagram, I mean, they've kind of lost their, I don't know, what is it? I mean, they're
lost
not
their
exactly
edge.
at the forefront.
They lost their edge.
Their edge, yeah. They're no longer at the forefront of where the new technologies are going.
They're trying to be.
They're great for me staying in contact with my family, so I'm grateful for Facebook and Instagram. But as far as business, I don't think that's where it's conducted. And it's talked about on Twitter, so I'm grateful.
Yeah, I mean, people definitely still use it, but it's just not as exciting as it once was.
Mm-mm.
I mean, especially they've limited kind of how posts go through the network, and I think there was a time when you could post something, it was really going to get pushed around. But now they kind of made it so you have to pay for ads if you really want your stuff to get out there. So,
all right. Caleb said, check your wallet. You should have just received it yesterday at 10:15.
Excellent. Cool.
I'm going to tell him will do.
Well, all right, folks. That's the end of our show today. We're just working on being artists and creating so that we can survive.
Yeah, having the finances to promote our programs. And to me, that's everything else is secondary right now. Even my family, who I love and miss, I've really got to plow through and do this first NFT family. So I love you. And I'm glad my son, Kane and Steven, the families together, they went out shit kicking last night. They had their cowboy boots on and their hats. And I'm like, get down there in Texas. I'm so happy for my family, my sons together and their children, and my sister. My family's healing and coming together. And this is what I wish for everyone that has grown up with trauma in their life. I know you look at me, you don't think I grew up with trauma, but I learned to smile through it. And sometimes you have to deal with the pain and figure out what you really desire in life. And so I'm grateful for 1frog9 and our partnership and our love and our friends that knew us through the art community here in Asheville, and the friends I'm meeting in Leicester. It's a farm community, but this is where I live. And I just put a call out. Do you feel like you could be part of our team? There's Jeanette, who's always there, Jeanette King, that I can call at any time, and I'm so grateful for her. And Tony Shivers, photographer, and Marie Cochran, Appalachian Artist Project. All these people who've had faith in me, and I'm just happy.
Yeah, we were really grateful.
So come on down.
Anybody and everybody that's showing support for us, we could use it. We really could use it. We've been pretty isolated here in these COVID times, but we're just plugging along, doing what we can, how we can do it. So, anything else left to share with the people?
Oh no, I'm looking in my wallet.
Looking at your wallet. All right. Well, she's gonna look at her wallet.
I'm looking at my MetaMask wallet.
I'm gonna slide us over here real quick. And I'll ask you all, please text in the exception, all one word, to 52886. All right? This is basically to show support for the Abolition Amendment. If you look at the 13th Amendment, it's only like 28, 30 words, something like that. And within the first 5 or 10 words, it is an exception to slavery and indentured servitude. The Abolition Amendment will go ahead and kill that little exception, so that it will just say neither slavery nor involuntary servitude may be imposed as punishment for a crime. All right, that's just one little piece of it. You can also, again, find those other groups that I had mentioned earlier in the chat. I am We Ubuntu and the Jailhouse Lawyers Speak folks, and Amend the 13th. Well, that didn't work. Cancel. Whoops. Copy. Go over here. Drop it down. Anyway, yeah, we're always live Thursdays at 11 a.m. and Saturdays at 11 a.m. Sorry today wasn't as action-packed and as exciting, but, you know, I'm just going to keep showing up anyway, even if I have nothing planned, and you guys are just going to have to deal with it. That's the truth. Oh, and also, again, the other thing is, what is it? The sponsor a child for the holidays, child of an imprisoned person, of a prisoner. You can check that out at Out the Mud. If you email outthemud.jls@Proton, they will directly connect you with a family. Go do it. There we go. Reach out to those folks and let them know that you want to be a part of that sponsorship, all right? But anyway, that's all I got right now today, folks. I hope you guys have a good weekend, and please be an abolitionist. All right?